St. Louis is a movie town. We've got everything from the huge megaplex theaters that cater to the blockbusters to the smaller houses where you'll find indie films. You'll find me at both. My name is Dawn Meadows Dixon, and I've been covering movies and working as a film critic for nearly 30 years. I've covered the Oscars on the red carpet, movie premieres, interviewed hundreds of stars, and seen thousands of films. And it's my job to bring a bit of Hollywood glitz and glamour to the Gateway City. Welcome to On the Screen. Hello, everyone. I am Dawn Meadows Dixon. My next guest's life is the subject of a new film called Captive. You may remember back in 2005, she was taken hostage by a man who had just broken out of an Atlanta jail and killed several people. She was able to talk him out of killing her as well by reading from the popular book, The Purpose-Driven Life. Please welcome to the show, Ashley Smith. Welcome, Ashley.
Hello.
You know, I saw the film last night with an audience, and when it was over, they just broke out in applause. I, too, was very moved by the movie. I remember when it happened back in 2005, followed it on the news. I'm wondering if you think they got it right.
Oh, yeah. They definitely got it right. I would say it's as close to perfect as it can be. You know, there are some things added for dramatic effect, but even those things added for dramatic effect, as I began to watch it and be, you know, just see how it made it all come together, I began to see those scenes actually added emotions, you know, true emotions. They told emotions that I was feeling during that time.
I lost everything. My husband's dead, and they said I was an unfit mother, took away my little girl.
Have you heard of this book? Help me.
Ashley, were you on the set when they were shooting this?
I was on set for about the first 5 days in Charlotte with them, and it really was a good time. I actually do have a very brief part in the movie. I don't say anything. I'm in the courtroom scene, sitting with both of my daughters, my sister and another friend were sitting in there too, so it's kind of fun just to watch it cut away and see us sitting there.
Was it cathartic for you at all? I know you've written a book, but watching your story become a movie, what did that mean to you?
Well, you know, over the last 10 years, people have come and wanted to do a film, and for me, I was honored that they wanted to, but not so much jumping at the chance unless, in fact, it was going to honor God, and I didn't want it done at all unless it honored God. But you know, in September of 2013, the producers came to me and said, "This is the way it's going to look. Can we do it?" And I said, "Absolutely." And you know, I'm really excited about the number of people that it's going to touch. And you know, for me, I hope people see that even if they're not dealing with drug addiction, everybody has something in their life that they're dealing with, and we definitely need to cling to God and let Him lead us through all of that.
I hope as well, and I respect the fact that you waited so you could make a film that really honors God, and it really isn't very preachy. And I saw an interview with David Aiello, who plays Brian Nichols in the film, and he said that's one of the reasons that he did it. Did he capture Brian's anger and hopelessness?
Yes, he definitely did, and you know, that definitely was something very difficult, I think, for David to do, because if you know David, you know he is the sweetest, most passionate, loving, kind man that you ever met in your life. And so it was very difficult for him to reach down and find, you know, the person that Brian Nichols was that night. But he did a phenomenal job in doing that, and I owe him a lot for that, and have a lot of respect for him, because you know, he had a lot of passion in this film, and for me, he was there, it seemed, to tell a story to help others, and that I'm really grateful for that.
I need to see my daughter.
You're not going anywhere.
God, please help me.
Ashley, I wonder if we could go back a moment to that time, to that place. And I know the story's been told many times before, but was there a moment that you knew that Brian was not going to kill you?
You know, I didn't think that he was going to kill me. I always thought that there was a possibility until I got in that car and drove around the corner and was gotten away. I felt like things began to shift a little bit when I chose not to do the drugs in my apartment that night. But, I think I felt things shift because I gave God my brokenness, and in exchange for my brokenness, I think God gave me His eyes to see Brian Nichols, and through that I saw a sinner saved by God's grace, which I related to because I felt I was the same thing, a sinner saved by God's grace. And so I felt like it was just two people in the apartment that night that God was looking down on, disappointed in, but yet still guiding through that night.
It's such a story of a hope and about God's love. And as a Christian myself, I'm hoping that it does help other people. What made you pick up that book, The Purpose-Driven Life, and start to read it to Brian?
That scene in the movie is actually not the way it happened. I actually got The Purpose-Driven Life. I got The Purpose-Driven Life at a church that I went to with my aunt several weeks before that, and I began to read The Purpose-Driven Life as a way to try to get away from my addiction, and I think it was working. But after I chose not to do the drugs, I felt it necessary to back that decision up with some type of God, so I went and got actually my Bible and The Purpose-Driven Life, and I began to read my devotion that day in The Purpose-Driven Life, and that's when Brian Nichols asked me to read it to him as well.
Well, God came in and intervened, and it changed your life forever. You're now a mother, you're a wife, you have 3 children.
Yes, definitely changed me forever. Love being a wife to my husband for 8 years, and my kids are probably the most important thing to me because I know that I need to teach them. They want to stay away from some of the things that I did as a teenager, and show them that the world will lie to them and make them think it's fun when in actuality it's not fun at all.
Ashley, I want to thank you so much for sharing your story, and I hope it continues to help other people. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much.
We've been talking with Ashley Smith, her story made into a new movie called Captive. We'll be back with more On the Screen right after this.
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.
This is an exciting time of year. Some of the best films of 2015 will be released between now and the end of December. Many will have Oscar consideration, like Black Mass with Johnny Depp, and others, like The Intern and Robert De Niro, are just plain fun. Here's my take on both.
Do you have a favorite quote?
I do. You're never wrong to do the right thing.
Who said that, you?
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure Mark Twain said it first.
In The Intern, Robert De Niro plays 70-year-old Ben Whitaker, a retired businessman who decides to get back in the game as a senior intern at a successful online fashion site. It also stars Anne Hathaway as Jules, the young, overworked company founder.
Where'd you go to school?
I went to Northwestern.
Hey, my brother went to Northwestern.
Probably not at the same time.
Probably not. He graduated in 2009.
Class of 65.
Wow. What was your major? Do you remember?
The Intern is brought to us by Nancy Myers, the same woman who produced Something's Gotta Give and The Parent Trap. It's a feel-good movie with a lot of heart. The comedy in the film comes from the generational differences between the characters. A film about the generation gap has been told before, but not like this. De Niro and Hathaway are great together. Their on-screen chemistry works. De Niro is at his best, proof he can morph into any role, a true master.
I just don't want her to think that I can't do my job and I need an intern to help me.
Okay, you're not going to want to hear this, but I heard women who sleep less than 7 hours a night gain 38% more weight than women who sleep more than 7 hours a night.
What? I leave here at 11, I get back at 7, I sleep like 5 hours a night, and now I'm going to get fat?
The Intern isn't going to win any awards come Oscar time, but it will make you laugh and maybe even cry. No matter what your age, The Intern is just a good darn movie. Well worth your movie dollar.
You spill the secret family recipe today, maybe you spill about me tomorrow. Is that something maybe that's a possibility?
Listen, I was just saying.
You were just saying. Just saying gets people sent to Allenwood. Just saying could get you buried real quick.
Black Mass is based on the true story of South Boston crime boss and sociopath Whitey Bulger, played by Johnny Depp. The film focuses on the secret trade deal Whitey makes with his brother, William Billy Bulger, a state senator played by Benedict Cumberbatch, and his childhood friend, FBI agent John Conley, played by Joel Edgerton. Together, they plan to take down the Italian mafia.
Take the money, keep your mouth shut about what you just heard. It's best you're not involved. Take the money, take the money, take the money.
Okay. So I should go now?
Yeah, you should go now.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
The plan goes awry, things turn violent, and the FBI is forced to put Whitey on the most wanted list. Johnny Depp's performance as Whitey is outstanding. He embodies this notorious gangster. The story, however, while intriguing, falls flat and barely scratches the surface. Some of the other performances are distracting, including Cumberbatch, an English actor who struggles with a Boston accent. Dakota Johnson, who plays Whitey's common-law wife and the mother of his son, while in a few scenes, is a standout. Most of the problems with the film falls on the shoulders of the film's director, Scott Cooper. Don't get me wrong, this is a good film. It just isn't great. And that's too bad, because Johnny Depp's performance as Whitey Bulger is outstanding. It's the best of his career, and many say could just be the ticket to get him in this year's Oscar race. Well worth your movie dollar. For On the Screen, I'm Dawn Meadows Dixon.